Right, so... Oh, I wasn't paying attention. That's bad. So, one of the two dead men had that gun that had the two shots. I think he said it was Vicotti, which would make sense. So... Vicotti was meeting Butler. Which means Vicotti fired first. And second. And someone else fired second. So maybe it was Butler with someone else was doing the deal. And Vicotti barged in. Fired, killed Butler, and then shot at the second person, who got him in the stomach while he missed. So they were kind of trying to dodge each other. And Vicotti got unlucky and missed. The other guy didn't get him in the head, just wounded him horribly. That's possible. Okay, pray continue.
Interesting. Pray continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man.
The third man, you say? Vienna?
Layton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in his size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps it's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
Why did you follow him?
Layton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
Westgate prisoners.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
Tattoos.
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
So how did you know him?
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
Oh, that too. That's useful.
Convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
Now, you were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen £1 of meat. After we were released and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Alright, what do we know of him? Right. Layton Chapman is in his 20s and is Wiggins' older brother. Growing up on the streets and being a hot-headed lad, he committed a crime for which he served time in Westgate Prison. He is currently detached from his past street life and is probably working somewhere as an office clerk. We now have to go and investigate that. We've got a lot of things we need to investigate. Right. Brian Vicotti is an old acquaintance of late... Right, so if I put the statements together... The person whom Leighton Chapman describes in his statement is a figment of his own imagination created to vindicate himself. No, I do not believe that's the case. Oh, it just automatically clicks that anyway. Right, Leighton's statement. 2 victims? Right, old acquaintance. Leighton Chapman stated that he saw a person leaning over a dead body just as he entered the crime scene. Oh, put that with lootless, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. No, okay. Old acquaintance. 2 victims, lootless. Right. Yeah. The violent crime committed in Half Moon Street by Leighton could have had a personal motive. No! Stop! I'm sure it wasn't him, and I can't put these two together. Right. Need to try and do something with that, so we'll have a look. I don't think it was Leighton. It may have been, and I might be horribly wrong, but there was a possible crossfire between Kenneth Butler and Brian Vicotti at Half Moon Street. Examine the dead bodies and perform a reenactment. So we're going to have to head back. Investigate the ancient bracelet and find out how it could have appeared. Right. To Half Moon Street. Let's investigate this. And then we'll head back to Baker Street and find out about the ancient bracelet. Admittedly, we may end up having just to go backwards and forwards to this area to investigate that. Though I don't think we'd need to. This is this side, isn't it? Yes. I'd like it if the lamp worked a bit better. Ooh.
What's up with you, lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours.
Do you mind leaving him alone?
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
He's with me. Wiggins is with me. Right. So it was obviously Vicotti. Find out who it might have been. It was Vicotti. Well, it must have been Vicotti because he had the 2 guns, wasn't it? If I was to find out who it might have been. Well, I can't examine. Oh, actually. Okay, no. So how do I find out which one to fire? So if I go back to his conversation in Scotland Yard. Second night, found it, didn't know. Anyway, I approached just if they were still alive. Second one was already dead. He was holding a gun in hand. I took it. I followed the third man. So he doesn't really specify who it was, but could have been. Ooh.
A fairly long pole with a forked end.
Resume? I didn't do anything.
A fairly long pole with a forked end.
So I need to. Object of interest, so I need to do something with that. So is there any place where there's been a shot was fired? Or do I just have to guess which way around it was? So there's a possibility it could have been either of them. So if that was the case... Ah!
I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp.
Right, so that's where we get this pole. Take, thank you.
This should be useful.
Yes, that's why I picked it up, game. Let's not stand on the bodies. I think Vicotti fired, but it may have been the other fellow, Butler. Aha.
Nothing interesting here.
What? No, there's a mark there. Okay, so I'm assuming then that the game's saying, no, it's Butler. Which means it was over here. We need to investigate. Find... Oh my goodness, it's so dark. There we go.
This is most definitely a bullet hole. The brick cracks are fresh.
Completely different
Watson,
texture.
there was a third shot fired in this street.
Oh my goodness. Right. Third shot. So someone else shot him. Right. Kenneth Butler and Brian Vicotti both died of crossfire, which is from the holding gun. One of the guns is now missing. We'll go with that, because I don't think it was a double murder. I know these are wrong! Right, simultaneous shots. So, that's because these are... That's where that goes wrong. So if I were to say it was from firing position, yeah, double murder, it'll probably go... Leighton did it. No, he didn't. So I go, click. He goes, no. That was not the case. Crossfire is logical, which means that was because of simultaneous shots. I've read the books too. This is the problem with... I think with this, is they've not actually come up with... Can I do more stuff then? Ah. Oh, wait, what? Ah. So they've not really come up with their own thing. It reminds me of one of the episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, where they come up with a Sherlock Holmes puzzle, but it's just taking a few elements of other stories and putting them together. Leighton Chapman's statement regarding the jacketed man who disappeared at Half Moon Street now seems reasonable, as the 3 shots of the crime scene prove the presence of a second gun that is now missing. So we need to go and do that. So, yeah. Ooh, yeah. So it's just... They're sticking elements of different puzzles together, of different stories together, and just coming out with them. So it's... one of the things that Sherlock Holmes The Awakened has got going for it is it is a unique story. Admittedly, Sherlock Holmes The Awakened being unique, having watched Pike's Let's Play of it, is probably a good thing. Young Wiggins of the Irregulars seeks Holmes' advice on a family affair. His elder brother Leighton has been arrested by the police. He is accused in a double murder. Talk to Constable Marrow and find out if it could have been possible to miss someone hiding in the shadows at the time. Let's converse with him then. That's the only other possibility. And then they go past Marrow.
Constable Marrow, I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Run through it with your lamp.
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before. And try to find me.
Understood.
Okay, so he's going to go from the very beginning, I'm guessing. Oh no, is this a stealth section? Oh no. No. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's the other way around. I'm probably being a bit... Probably not meant to do that. It's very dark, so I'm just kind of... Da, 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 da. So I've not spotted him. So...
No, this is not how I walked at the time of the crime. I was more
okay.
attentive. Let's start over again.
How did you do it then? So, do I have to just kind of go... Oh, do I have to find Holmes? Is that the case? Shine the light, shine the light. So it's like, okay, I found Holmes. So you got to find Holmes. Is the goal? Ah.
I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Okay, so there's going to be like a couple of times we go through and...
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Yeah, so this is quite dark. Admittedly, I think this kind of fits this bit, but... Yes, I'd like to apologise now. I'm still apologising for the darkness. Right, it's not there. You're not there. You know, Holmes could be sneaky. He could be hiding in the same place again. So I'm guessing it's a possibility we're not going to find him this time. And it's going to be, aha, he could have hidden in this space. Hmm. Oh,
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's
Hmm.
eye while hiding in the street.
okay. That's frustrating. No one could hide in the shadows of Half Moon Street, as a single run through this narrow street with a lamp would reveal it to every corner. Right. If we can assume that there was one more person in Half Moon Street at the time of the crime, then there was no way forward or back for his escape, only up. Recreate the fireworks described by Leighton and attempted to climb the wall. Right. This is absolutely mental. What are we doing? Find the flare gun to emulate the fireworks. What flare gun?
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
Why is there a flare
I'm
gun?
always wondering what's on your mind, Holmes.
So am I. Where's the flare gun? What are you talking about? They don't go together at all. Right, so up the walls. Flare gun. Find the flare gun. Right. Without knowing exactly where that is, we'll just head back to Baker Street and investigate this bracelet. Is our rather lead. Continue. Right, well. Search for the bracelet. Not going to be in chemistry. It's none of these, is it?
That is not the one I...
Didn't think so. Newspapers. Encyclopedia. Antique Art of British Museum, maybe? Aha! These beautiful antique jewels represent a part of the Hellenistic treasures collection. Depicted are the 5 heads of mountain rams upon a bracelet, necklace, and ring, each made of pure gold. The 5 rams of Mytilene have been missing from the museum since 1885.
Here it is.
So it may well be...
I need to continue my research in my archive.
Yes, so we're going to be looking it up then. So 1885, was it? Newspapers. Hellenistic treasures stolen. A treacherous theft. The Hellenistic treasures were stolen yesterday evening while being transported by cab on their way from the British Museum to the Glasford Fine Art Exhibition. Pawn shop owner Kenneth Butler contacted Scotland Yard that night and provided information regarding a gentleman who had attempted to sell him a collection of historical art at his pawn shop in Church Street. And yet he ended up with it. The police have since captured the described man, a professional thief by the name of Vincent Foley, who had been in the process of escaping London via the port. He was recognised by the surviving driver of the cab that had transported the collection of Hellenistic treasures. Vincent Foley refused to confess as to where the remainder of the treasures were hidden. He was eventually imprisoned. The lost treasures are still to be found.
Here it is. One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Indeed, it should. And we have the key, of course, don't we? Oh, gotta quickly away. And thus I return. That's the thing with having 6 Let's Plays. You spend a lot of time recording, so occasionally things get interrupted. Right, to the pawn shop, then. Let's find what we can. I don't think there's anything new to... Ooh, the long lost art. Okay. No, okay. Thought it might have had a connection that would have allowed us to find something else, but alas, no. So this is one of the places they really want you to go to, isn't it? Is that Patrick Kearns? It's his model. Examine
The
first.
door is locked, but I won't try to pick it. There are people directly behind me.
Well, we do have a key, so we'll use that.
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock. Perfect.
He had the key to his own shop. It shouldn't really be surprising you, Holmes. Don't really want to do that. Can we have... Ah!
These tools are exactly what I need to climb the wall.
Right. Okay, useful. Does he also have a flare gun while we're at it? He
This
does!
is exactly what we need in order to imitate the flash of the fireworks.
Is there any actual evidence here? I hope so, otherwise there's not much reason to actually be here, is there?